All right, welcome back, everyone. So, if you were with us for our last explainer, you'll remember we were deep in that bright, energetic heat of summer, right? That feeling of constant action. Well, today, we're shifting gears. The air is getting a little crisper, and the world is kind of asking us to look at it in a totally new way. So, what does that shift actually feel like? Well, we're moving away from a season of just doing things into a season of understanding. Autumn isn't about that raw, buzzing energy of summer. It's about what the source material calls a golden order. It's this time for finding the patterns, the hidden logic that holds everything together. A real shift from action to pure observation. Okay, so to help us navigate this whole new way of seeing, the source gives us a guide, a character named Little S. And Little S has this really unique way of seeing the world through what the text calls digital eyes. Now, let's be clear, digital eyes isn't some kind of tech. Not at all. It's really a metaphor. It's a state of mind. It's this way of seeing that's always, organizing and mapping and tracing all the little connections in everything. And there's this deep, deep sense of calm that comes from seeing the system underneath it all. And for Little S, what this does is it turns the whole world into this beautiful, really reassuring mosaic. It's not chaotic at all. Instead, it's like one single logical plane where everything just connects. And seeing this repetition, it's not boring. It's the opposite. It's deeply comforting. It's almost like the world is showing you its rulebook over and over. And man, there's just so much peace in that kind of predictability. And you see these patterns everywhere once you start looking. Think about the branching of a tree. It's the exact same pattern, the same math as the tiny veins in one of its leaves. Or, the seams on the sidewalk, how they kind of echo the cracks on a wall. Even something like a reflection, where one person can look like two. That's not a contradiction. It's just another layer, another sign of depth. And living in a world like that, well, it brings this incredible sense of order and peace. But okay, that all sounds great, right? A perfectly ordered world. But what happens when you run into an obstacle? The source actually suggests that these obstacles, they have their own kind of wisdom. They're here to teach us a lesson about boundaries. And this is exactly what happens when the wheelchair, which is basically the body for little sis, comes up to a buckled sidewalk. It just says no, not that way. It's this simple, quiet refusal, and it's not seen as a failure or some huge barrier. It's just the body's own wisdom saying, hey, there's a better way to go. It's a lesson that doesn't even need words. So, and this is the really crucial part. This whole act of refusal gets reframed. It's not a weakness, it's a strategic kindness. It's about saving your energy for what really matters, instead of just wasting it on a struggle you don't need to have. Choosing the wiser path, that's a gift you're literally giving to your future self. Okay, but what happens when this clean, logical system smacks right into a messy reality that it just can't file away neatly? What happens when two things are both true and both right at the exact same time, but they're in total conflict with each other? So, here's the first truth. You've got a squirrel storing a nut for winter. I mean, this is a perfect example of that autumn logic, right? It's an act of preparation, of foresight. The squirrel is just following the pattern, doing a tidy little kindness for its future self. Totally, 100% right. And then, here comes the second truth. A child finds that same nut and is just filled with joy, a moment of pure, innocent discovery. And that child's joy, it's just as valid, just as real, and just as right as the squirrel's careful planning. It's just spontaneous happiness. And this is the question that just rattles the whole system. You have the squirrel's need and the child's joy. The same event creates two completely opposite, but equally valid, outcomes. So how can a perfectly orderly world even contain a paradox like this? Suddenly, the system starts to wobble a little bit. And this is where we get this piece of really profound wisdom from the architect. You saw it, you don't have to solve it. The goal isn't to try and force this paradox into some neat little box where it makes sense. No. The goal is to expand your own capacity to just hold it. To be able to witness two conflicting truths at the same time without needing to pick a winner. You just have to see it. And you know what? This realization, it doesn't break the system for Little S. It actually upgrades it. The system becomes more flexible, more resilient. It's now capable of understanding a world that isn't just orderly, but is also complex and, yeah, beautifully contradictory. So, what are the new tools that little s gets to carry forward from this? Well, it's this whole collection, this autumn constellation. You've got the seam map for seeing connections, the double window for understanding depth, the quiet comfort of tidy acts, the paradox of the squirrel arc, and of course, the gentle wisdom of a soft no. This is the whole toolkit of autumn wisdom. And this really brings us to the heart of it all, the ultimate lesson of autumn. It isn't about rushing into action, not like summer was. It's about observing, organizing, preparing. It's about building a sense of readiness, a plan for what's coming down the road, so that when the time is finally right, you'll just know. And that's the thought I really want to leave you with today, to act only when the pattern says now. It's this incredible feeling of stored potential, right? Of quiet observation, just waiting for that perfect moment. It is the ultimate lesson from the pattern of leaves, and it sets us up absolutely perfectly for our next explainer, where we're going to dive into the deep, watchful wisdom of winter. I'll see you then.